Welcome back to the AI Burn Center. My name is Rebecca. Today we are talking about Vouched.fyi, which is part of our ecosystem of the AI Burn Center. This is video 4 in a series, and if you haven't seen 1 through 3, that's okay. This may or may not make sense to you, but hopefully I'll be able to give you enough background and enough context that you'll be able to understand we are talking about a totally different way of connecting job seeker and employer. I would call it a job board, but it's not. A job board is flat, it's one dimensional, it's sometimes going off the edge of a cliff. That is not this. So, today we're going to be talking about two of the key features that separate Vouch from your typical job board. Those two features are called Vouches. Hence the name Vouched. Get it? We're going to and also talk about badges. What is a badge? How do you earn them? What does that even mean, Rebecca? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you how it applies to your job seeker profile. So let's talk about the vouch system. What is it? A vouch is a written endorsement from someone who has actually worked with you as a coworker. This is not a click. This is not an endorsement. It is not a tit for tat situation. It's actually a request. So if someone is a job seeker and they are looking for people to vouch for them, they will be able to send out a link to that person. They can customize the message, but essentially the standard message that goes out with it is, "Hey, it's Matt. I'm looking to find a new project management role. I'm using this new job system, and I'm wondering if you would vouch for me." Those aren't the exact words I'm giving you. I'm just giving you an idea of what actually goes out with this link. But the link allows them to click on it. And when they go into it, there's a form there, and it will have the job seeker's name. It will have the role that that person is seeking. Now, that's not the job that they are applying to. It's just the role, like for instance, project manager. And then there's going to be a place for you to enter where you worked with this person and for how long did you work with this person. And then there's going to be a text box so that the person that's vouching for you can actually put something in there that's meaningful, that has depth, and it is actually a human being saying about another human being, this is what they are about, this is their quality of work, this is why you should hire them. That kind of vouch is what we are building the system on. It's a very unique feature of the system, and it's also a way for us to invite other people onto the platform that don't know who we are. So if you were around in the early days of one of the other platforms, one of the things it would tell you is that you can blast your entire email contact list and they will all know that you have created a profile on our platform. And then when the receiver would see that email, they would think, oh, everybody I know is on this platform. That was not the case, but it got people to the site. It got people to sign up for an account, and indefinitely it may be the cringiest site that's out there right now, because it doesn't really fulfill its function as a job board or as a connector between an employer and job seekers. It doesn't do it well anyway. Maybe I should quantify that. And it's become so overwhelmed with social content that it's hard to call it professional anymore. So these systems and the way they were built previously, we're just not about that. But if you send a vouch request to someone, where they're going to land and what they're going to see is a way for them to actually endorse you. And it also creates a curiosity. Even if that person isn't seeking a job right now, they're going to want to know, what is this new job infrastructure? What is this that you're on? What is vouched? And that's exactly the function of this way to invite people to vouch for you, because inevitably the person who has received the vouch request may also be the person who ends up sending out a vouch request. Companies and roles are changing so quickly. Things are being eliminated, things are being reworked, restructuring is happening. So The more people that know how both sides of the system works, the better. That way they already know what to anticipate and what they can do on vouched. So once somebody submits a vouched on your behalf, that's going to pop up on your profile, which is awesome because potential employers can now see it. They can see all the vouches that you've collected and the people who have spoken highly of you and your skill set. It all appears there. Now, I think the rule of thumper applies here. If you're familiar with the Bambi movie, he says, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. That applies here too. Your words and how you respond to a vouch request should be with the heart posture of helping this person move into the next chapter of their life. If your experience with them was terrible and you never enjoyed working with them, don't send them a terrible vouch and something that's negative and going to drag down their profile. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. Just leave it at that. And the people who do have positive feelings about that person or had a positive experience with them, they will be able to carry the weight. You don't have to do it all yourself. So there is no pressure or expectation. And yes, when you do submit that vouch for them, it will pop up on their profile. So that's also a little pro tip for those people who are seeking jobs. Send out your vouch requests to people that you know are going to speak well of you. Make sure it's not just something you pepper out to everybody in your contacts. Don't do that. No one's going to receive that well. Specifically target the people that you know are going to speak well about your work history. So the other thing besides vouches that makes our platform so unique and so different is something we call badges. So if you are a mid-level professional, if it's been 20 years since you graduated with your degree, if you have been displaced due to AI, and then you find that every job that you go to apply for requires a level of AI literacy that you may not have, that puts you at a disadvantage. Going back to school is not going to solve that because most universities don't have the ability to approve curriculum fast enough to keep up with everything that's changing and the rate that it's changing. So there has to be something else that you can do in order to show I am actively learning, I am progressing in a skill set, and I'm going to have a totally new layer of know-how by the time I'm hired. That's what badges are. So within the vouched system, you have forward, that's what we call it. And in Forward, there is a curated library of content that you can go through and you can earn badges. And each time you earn a badge, that shows on your job seeker profile. Employers will be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see your progression. And so it's an indicator, if you will, that someone is actively learning and growing. Now, let's talk a little bit about this curated library for a minute because we are identifying content that is truly valuable. It also has to be free. Again, we're going back to the idea that if you are a displaced worker or you are unemployed right now, to ask you to pay for classes in order to earn badges makes no sense. We're not going to add to your financial burden by saying there's a gate here that you have to pay to get over. That's just not what we believe is helpful for you, so we don't do it. But the content that we have curated so far includes names like Grace Lung, Nate B. Jones, Mark Kesheff, Igor Pavini, IBM Technologies, Heather Austin, Dr. John Deloney, and there's some classes in there from the Harvard Business Review. And we have selected these people particularly because we think they are the most accessible. They are absolute pros at what they do. Their teaching carries weight and merit, and their content is actually already on YouTube. The problem is, so is the content of 5 billion people. So how are you supposed to find what content is valuable and what's a waste of your time? So we are trying to curate a library that helps you figure out these are things that are super helpful and will actually help advance my life. And those are some of the people we've identified so far. So let's talk a little bit about how you earn the badge. Once you are into a module, there may be one video in that module, there may be 5 videos in that module. But after each video, there is a 10-question quiz that's going to pop up. You have to score an 80% of that quiz in order to earn the badge. And it is a quiz per video. So you don't take them cumulatively, and at the end of 4 videos, you have a 10-question quiz. It's 10 questions at the end of each one of those videos within that module grouping. So that 80% threshold, you can take the test as many times as you want to, but if we lower that bar, well, the meaning and the weight of what that indicates decreases. And that's really not the nature of this site. The whole infrastructure is to help employers identify the cream of the crop, the best of the best, the people who are totally willing to learn what they need to learn and move themselves forward. And if you score an 80% or above and you can complete a module, you are telling a potential employer, I am worth your time. And if we are going to help you get out of the people pile and get noticed, we think that that's a pretty reasonable request. I'm looking for a B average or above. The modules are also not locked, meaning there's no prerequisites in order to access them. They're not, you don't have to take them within in a specific order. You take them as you want to. And it probably makes sense to take them in the order that they've been uploaded, but that's up to you, and it's for you to make that decision. Again, Forward is always free. Your badges always appear on your profile. And a little note, you may have heard me mention Dr. John Deloney, excuse me if I said Delaney earlier. John Deloney has a lot of great content on managing a workplace stress and the anxiety that comes around being employed in today's world. So this video in particular, or this series, does not earn you a badge, but we thought it would be necessary to have a section that is all about well-being and being able to function at your best, but also have a peace of mind about what life is all about. Because while we do need to put bread on the table, that is something that we have stepped up to the plate to provide, to fulfill that role for our family. It is not the only thing that we are put here on earth to do. And having that perspective of a well-rounded whole human being is super important. So we are going to continue to add to the wellness library. It is not something that's tracked. There's no assessments associated with that, but we do find there's a lot of value there. So there's also a section in there that's from IBM Technology. We are not associated with IBM. We have no affiliation whatsoever with them. They are not paying us to put their content on here. But we found that the training they offer is valuable. It's at a level that most people can understand. And because it's put out by a company as recognizable as IBM, it is also worth adding to the library. So all that being said, that is a library that we are going to continue to grow. If you have some suggestions, if you know of some videos or some instructors, some professors that are super high-end, high caliber, top of their game kind of people, and they are teaching skills that people in today's modern workplace need to have and will help them land their next role, shoot me a comment. Let me know who they are. I'm totally welcoming and open to suggestions. It saves me the research time. But yeah, that is those two differentiators. When we look at what is different about a job seeker's experience on what normal, traditional, outdated job boards offer and what we are doing at Vouched, these two features are super, super valuable. Another thing, it's just a little teaser, if you will, at the moment, but in third quarter, we are going to be rolling out another layer of what it means to show who you are in your profile. There is a way, we firmly believe, with the technology that is available today, you representing yourself on a traditional resume, it does not tell the whole story. story? How do we tell an employer who you are with just a resume extraction? The vouches help, the badges help, but there's another way that we can really go deep into who you are as a person. And we are working on how that looks, how it will present to an employer who has questions about you, the level of interaction that the system will have with an employer when it comes to an employer asking more questions about who you are. So we are super excited to roll out that feature. And those are the kind of things that we are just going to continually turn over and look at and say, how can we do this better? So my name is Rebecca. I am the founder of the AI Burn Center, and my husband and I have created Vouched as a new way forward, a new way for people, for a job seeker and a potential employer to connect and connect on solid ground and on a foundation that means something. So I'm super glad you found this video. I'm so glad that you're here, and I will see you next time.